Yo, what's going on everyone? Freakydude99 here, back at you with the brand new Warlock build, this time finishing off the Strand builds using the new aspects. Now, I was probably like you when I saw the Wanderer aspect. I thought it didn't look as flashy or as interesting as the Hunter or Titans aspects, but after using it and seeing its potential and more endgame content, I think the aspect is a fantastic addition to the Strand Warlocks kit and to my full Threadling build. Now, as always, there's timestamps for each section of the build, and there's also a picture of the full build at the end of the video, along with a dim link in the description. With that out of the way, let's jump into the subclass. Starting out, we got our Needlestorm Super, which might be the best Strand Super out of all the classes. The massive amount of instant damage you can output is amazing on bosses and can even clear out waves of ads instantly. As well as since it spawns Threadlings, it even buffs up with the actual build we're rocking. It's just a really solid super ability. Next, for our class ability, we have a choice of Healing or Empowering Rift. Personally, I use Healing Rift more as I just find it helps out more in harder content, but if you're in something easy, then Empowering Rift is more useful for the 20% increased weapon damage. We use our Rift whenever we get low on health as to trigger Powerful Attraction, Bomber, and Outreach. Warlock Jump is up to you, but Burst is the fastest and my personal choice. Next, we got our melee ability Arcane Needle. This melee gives us 3 charges, it has almost infinite range from what I know, and it unravels targets and does a decent amount of damage. It's great to use when you need a quick tangle and when you need to deal damage with Arcane Needle. We will trigger Focusing Strike and Impact Induction for extra class ability and grenade energy back. Of course, in our grenade slot, we have Shackle for that amazing crowd control, for the stunning of unstoppable champions and barrier champions. If you're ever in trouble or an unstoppable is chasing you down, don't be afraid to throw it out instead of consuming it for Weaver's Trance. Now for our first aspect, we have Mindspun Invocation, which enhances each of our different grenade abilities. For our Shackle, it allows us to consume it and activate Weaver's Trance for 20 seconds. This buff makes it so any kill causes a suspending burst around the target. In this, the Strand Warlock becomes insanely powerful as we will be getting our Shackle grenade back before Weaver's Trance even runs out. Clearing out waves of enemies becomes a cakewalk, and the amount of crowd control you can dish out is just mind-blowing. You can truly one-man army some entire rooms and encounters. Next up, we have our brand new aspect, the Wanderer. This causes tangles we throw to stick to enemies and blow up and create a suspending burst, and it also allows Threadlings to create tangles. One thing this aspect does not tell you is that it makes tangles unaffected by gravity. Without the aspect, a tangle falls in an arc when you throw it and can gravitate towards enemies if it gets close to them. But with the Wanderer aspect, it causes the tangles to just go in a straight line and soar through the sky. When it gets close to an enemy, it will home in strongly as well. I definitely prefer this aspect over Weaver's Call, as it allows tangles to have endgame viability. It can act as a free Shackle grenade, and when you have Weaver's Trance active, it just doubles its effectiveness. The range you can have on it also is just a cherry on top. Moving on to our fragments, we're starting with Thread of Evolution, which allows our Threadlings to travel farther and do about 35% more damage. Next, we have Thread of Rebirth, which causes Strand weapons to sometimes spawn Threadlings. This gets better when we have a weapon with Hatchling, as we can sometimes spawn 2 Threadlings on a precision kill. Not only that, but Threadlings created by the Hatchling perk count as Strand gun damage, so they can actually spawn another Threadling if they kill something. It results in some crazy amount of Threadling generation. Moving on, we got Thread of Warding for Woven Mail on Orbs of Pickup Power. Woven Mail is a 60% damage reduction buff, and with the season artifacts, it gives it unraveling rounds to Strand weapons. Finally, we have Thread of Generation, so any damage we deal gives us grenade energy. This ensures we always have Weaver's Call up, and always have a Shackle grenade at the ready. With the subclass all built out, let's see what weapons we're packing. Now in the kinetic slot, I've been using Michael's Reverence, Taraxipus or Glissando 47. Final Warning, Perpetualis, and Different Times. For the energy slot, I've been using Cold Heart, Ikelos SMG, Trendy Ghoul, Divinity, Iterative Loop, Nezarec Sin, and Forbearance. And for the heavy slot, you need to have a Circular Logic with the Hatchling perk. For this build, we are using our Circular Logic for almost everything, as Hatchling and Thread of Rebirth paired together on this weapon spawns more Threadlings than you can count sometimes. Cold Heart comes in clutch with some solid damage on champions and the ability to stun overload champions when you have the artifact perk. As well as I use Taraxipus with Hatchling or Explosive Payload for some long range distant killing. And if you didn't get Taraxipus from Guardian Games, there's a new Strand Scout called Glissando 47 which can roll with Hatchling along with Reconstruction or Overflow, which are both very solid choices. With the weapons locked and loaded, we got some artifact perks to pick out. Starting off, we're picking up Anti-Barrier Auto and Overload Scout and Trace Rifle so we can deal with champions. It also overcharges those weapons, which is a 25% damage buff in activities with that modifier. Next, we're grabbing Technicolor Siphon so we have access to the dual current mod. We're grabbing Improved Unraveling, which increases unravel damage. This seems to be a 15% damage increase right now. We use Deeper Origins for increased effectiveness of origin traits that it lists. We're grabbing Strand Soldier so whenever we have Woven Mail, we got Unraveling rounds on our Circular Logic and any other Strand weapons we use. We're also using Overcharged Armory so weapons with origin traits listed get a 25% damage buff in activities with the Overcharge modifier. This ensures that our Circular Logic always receives that buff. And finally, Conductive Cosmic Needles so teammates' Arc and Void abilities do more damage to Strand debuff targets, and also Squad Goals so we can spread Woven Mail to others when we use our finisher. With the artifact spec'd out, let's build out our Armour Mods. Starting with the helmet, we are using Dual Current Siphon so our Strand and Arc weapons generate Orbs of Power. We also have Heavy Ammo Finder and Heavy Ammo Scout to ensure we always have heavy and can spawn some for our fire team. For our stat distribution, we are focusing Resilience first for the 30% damage reduction. Next, we focus Discipline so we get our Shackle Grenade back as fast as possible and can have Weaver's Trance active always. And thirdly, we focus Recovery so we can use our class ability when we need to. Moving down to the gauntlets, we're using Font of Vigor for the plus 30 strength when we have an armor charge. This helps out with our lower strength stat and ensures our Arcane Needle can be used for focusing strike, which gives 20% class ability energy on melee hit, and Impact Induction, which gives 20% grenade energy on melee hit. Next to the chest piece, we will be using a double elemental resistance depending on what threat the activity is. If it is solar threat, then we run a double solar resistance which will provide us with a 25% damage reduction. Then you run a third resistance like Concussive Dampener or an arc resistance for a 15% damage resist. Next up for our exotic leg armor, we have the Swarmers, which spawn 2 Threadlings upon destroying a Tangle and allow Threadlings to apply Unravel on hit. This exotic allows our Threadlings to become unstoppable and do all the slaying for us. Paired with a good hatchling weapon, Thread of Evolution, and Rebirth, and our 2 aspects, and we become a powerhouse of Suspend, Unravel, and a true minion master. For the mods, we will be using Strand Scavenger so we never run out of Circular Logic ammo, Strand Holster so we never have to reload our Circular Logic, and Recuperation so we get healing on orb pickup. And finally, for our class item, we are using Bomber and Outreach for 20% grenade and melee energy on class ability use. We also use Powerful Attraction so we don't have to run around and pick up orbs to trigger Woven Mail and Font of Vigor. And with that, the build is put together. To use it, it is simple. This is a pure Threadling build, so it's all about using Circular Logic and getting precision kills to spawn as many Threadlings as possible. Activate Weaver's Trance whenever you can, and refresh it as often as you can. If at some point you need to throw your shackle, don't worry, we can use Arcane Needle and our Rift to generate grenade energy, plus any damage dealt regens our shackle nade as well. When you see tangles that are close to you, it's better to pick them up and throw them for the suspend. If a tangle is far away, just shoot it to spawn the Threadlings near any enemies. A lot of the times the Threadlings will detonate a tangle they just created, causing even more damage, so don't be worried if you're not throwing tangles all the time. In harder content, it will become more useful and you'll start throwing tangles a lot more. Popping your Rift whenever it's up is a good way to collect any nearby orbs, which give healing because of the recuperation, and gives armor charges so our Font of Vigor stays active as much as possible. It also gives the 20% energy for grenade and melee. And that's pretty much everything. This build is a lot of fun, and I'd even say it's endgame viable once you get your power up. Being able to spawn waves of Threadlings and for them to actually be good and decimate is so much fun to look at, and it really makes you feel like the Broodweaver class. Other than that, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, maybe give it a like and subscribe to the channel. I have been FreakyDude99, and we will see you in the next video. Peace out, everyone.